We're here in Seattle at Mr. B's Meadery.
Where a husband and wife duo serve up small batch meads with a side of magic.
And today we are getting a special behind the scenes tour from Mr. and Mrs. B themselves. Come with us.
We're here with Mr. and Mrs. B of Mr. B's Meadery, and we're talking to them about what inspired this incredible place. You guys, why Mead?
Well, it's just different. No one knows what it is, and I got into it about 15 years ago when my drummer at the time gave me a bottle from his first batch.
Ooh.
And I've never been much of a drinker, so I was just kind of blown away by how different it is from your normal wine or beer or cider. And so a year later, I asked him how to make it because I have lots of hobbies, and he just gave me the name of the recipe. He's like, figure it out. So I just researched it online and got all the equipment and started doing it.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and then after about 8 years of home brewing, I started looking into the licensing side of it and saved up some money and went for it.
Are you guys like eating a snack or eating breakfast or something and like, wait, these flavors are nice.
Yeah, I think it's a lot of that. Like you try something and it like sticks out or stands out to you. In Central Ohio, so Brothers Drake's Meadery is out there, and they have an apple pie mead, and that was always my favorite. It's just like, yeah, picking out flavors and stuff, and then sometimes we get feedback from people, and they'll say you should do this, you should do that, and then so it's a mixed batch of both of those, I would say.
Yeah.
So you had mead before?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I lived in Central Ohio, and Brothers Drake is out there in the Renaissance Festival, and that's my experience with mead before moving out here. And then Brandon and I started dating, and he makes mead, and I was like, well, that's pretty cool because I've been looking for a meadery in Seattle, and there were none. There were none in Seattle. There's one up in Everett, and that was it. And I was like, well, let's roll with this and keep going. So Brandon's from this area.
Yeah, I grew up
born
in
and
White
raised
Center.
in White Center.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So
Yeah.
that's why we're glad to be able to open in the area and service the community that he grew up in. So
Yes.
just kind of as a hobbyist when we first started, and then you kind of transitioned into doing distribution through a beverage company and got some contacts, and so it just kind of like evolved naturally in a weird way. And it was just like we had the time and the space to save up the money, and he did that and got it started on his own. So I was just there for support, essentially, Both of our talents have blended together so well because Brandon's such a great mead maker, and he's so good with what he does, and he has a brain that just works, and my brain doesn't work for that stuff whatsoever. Mine's more of the flowing and artistic. So.
It's that perfect balance, that complement that comes together and does this. This really is magic.
Yeah.
I love that that's in your byline, the serving up mead with the side of magic, because really it is.
I think it's about bringing like that childhood wonder into people's life. That's what we want, the whimsy. We want something that joy that you get when you're at a carnival or something like that. Like it's just little things like that, and bringing that joy back into adulthood is a lot about what I want to do when I look at the aesthetics of the place, and what better like beverage to pair that with than mead, because it's so versatile.
It is, and it is that whimsy. And this location too has a lot of cool history.
The original building was a gas station 99 years ago for about 30 years or so.
1926 to about 1955.
And it was built by the guy who founded White Center, Hiram Green.
Yeah, Green.
And his partner, Mr. White. They did a coin toss to decide how White Center was named, and Mr. White won the coin toss, so it was called White Center instead of Green Center. And then also this area was kind of famous for Prohibition for Seattle, is kind of where it started. So there's a tunnel that goes a couple blocks down the street here, because this is the Seattle side, and then that street, Roxbury right here, is where Seattle stops, so a couple blocks down. So they would bring it in Ciolo Beach Drive, about a mile down the street. They would boat it in, bring it up to the other end of the tunnel, and then tunnel it into Seattle.
I like to pretend, I don't know for a fact, but there's a door inside the crib, the old building, that goes into the back of the triangle, which is a bar. So we think that they brought it in through that door in there. We can't open it because it's like behind and closed up now, but we theorize that maybe it was a part of Prohibition too.
Obviously, our ears perked at all of this cool history, and so Coco and I had to sit down with the bees in the oldest part of the building to hear more and more and more.
Well, we are here with Mr. and Mrs. B in the oldest part of the building to unlock the secrets.
This used to be a gas station. It started out as a Texaco and eventually was like a Gilmore oil-owned company. This little 20 by 21 foot was the original building built in 1926. The room that we were just in was an open awning where people would drive up and get gas. And this is the most original part. All these windows are original windows. Over in the other building, which we call the tool crib, that was also an oil change station. And this area was open, so they just would drive up there for oil changes. And the Texaco sign and everything in there, that's all original to the building over there. And that is not going to change. I'm going to clean it up and organize it a little bit, but it's always going to be a shop over there. Trying to keep as much as the history as we can in here. White Center has a great history, and the man who built this building built the Rosella building, which is the most intact, oldest building in White Center that's right beside us. He built the roller skating rink. He built a movie theater. He contributed a lot to this community, and his original home is just like one street over too. So it's got a lot of history, but you can't find out much about it because it was a gas station, so it was kind of skipped over. People talk about the Triangle building and the Rosella building a lot, but our building was just kind of, no one really cared about it, and it was kind of lost in the middle. But I mean, the man who owned it before, I think he sold to us because he wanted someone who wanted to keep the integrity, who wanted to bring community back to White Center.
He refused to sell it to developers.
Yeah, developers did want to buy it, so he said no, and he held on to it, I think, for 3 years after that.
Yeah.
They owned this building for 52 years? 51 years. So his father originally bought it. And funnily, they got most of the tools to start with at an auction, which is what we've been getting most of our materials from, those auctions and stuff. It's been in his family for forever, and he told us he's rented tools to NASA. And we still get people stopping in because it was such a big part of this community, that tool lending, that people are still coming in looking for the tools and stuff. And I'm like, I'm so sorry.
The guy who sold it to us, Doug Stevens, he's been working. His parents bought it in the 70s, but
he's worked here his whole life.
16 or something like that.
When he bought
so he's been working here since he was 16 years old.
He was sad when he left, and he kind of didn't have purpose, and then he came back for our soft opening, and he was just happy. He was just glowing, and because I think he was just happy to have free time, and then also happy with how we honored the integrity of the building for him, because I didn't want to tear everything off. That was actually an office that we converted into a bar. I just kind of cut it in half. Yeah. The sign up top, we do plan on keeping the sign.
Yeah,
that's
outside,
been there forever. It's this giant, rusty, and that is staying there as long as it's together,
I love that so much.
This
is why he chose you. You chose so correctly.
I mean, that's one thing that people have been saying that is warms my heart, is that people come in here and say it feels like home, And I love that. That's the goal. That is my end goal. And to inspire people to bring art back into their lives and just to feel safe in this space.
All while staying true to the history of the building and keeping that part of it alive. Again, that is part of the magic you can feel in here.
It was funny because when we first looked at the building, we walked into the crib and I was I fell in love with the crib. And he's like, well, you can have it. And I was like, well, we'll see about it. But
Well, anything that was love at first sight for Mrs. B is more than enough for us. So to the tool crib we go.
Here we are in the tool crib. So we make magic in this whole facility. We make art, we make mead, and I think it's time you show us how it's done.
Let's go to the production room here.
I'm excited to learn how you guys make this.
So I do a lot of small batch experiments. For most meaderies, I'm considered really small. Like you could probably call it a micro meadery in comparison to most other people, even though I'm a lot bigger than where I started even. Like a 90-gallon batch, a 3-barrel batch would be still like a test size batch for most other meaderies. I still do a lot of carboys, a lot of like 5-6 gallon, like that's a 6-gallon carboy. I just do little spin-offs with this little extra flavor in there compared to like a bigger batch. So yeah, so how I like to describe mead for most people who don't know what mead is, like how grapes make wine or apples make cider, honey makes mead. And then I will ferment typically with fruits and spices as well. One thing that kind of sets me apart compared to most other meaderies is I actually like to ferment with all my ingredients rather than like back flavoring or back sweetening or anything like that. So I will start everything in primary. So it's basically honey, water, and yeast. The yeast eats the sugars from the honey and converts it into alcohol and CO2. The alcohol stays inside and then the CO2 leaves through an airlock. And that's basically it in the most simplest form.
Wow.
And then from there, like, yes, most other people will like maybe go like ferment it bone dry, sulfide it, filter it, you know, back sweeten it with more honey to get to the sweetness level they want, maybe back flavor it with their fruits or spices then. But like I do the opposite. I do everything up front. I don't filter it. I don't back sweeten it. I don't add clarifying agents. I have a very minimalist, natural approach to making mead. So it takes me a bit longer than most other people. One reason why I like to ferment with everything is I feel like I get a more well-rounded flavor. If you back flavor with something, you might get a brighter flavor, but it's not the same. It's not as well-rounded is the best way I can put it. The only time I'll put something in at the very end is maybe like vanilla bean or ghost pepper. And the things that are just going to get like eaten up during the fermentation process, or because they're so expensive or something like that. So like there's certain things where it's like just put it in at the end. But otherwise, if it's a fruit or fermentable ingredient or even spices, I try to ferment with it ideally.
Some people filter, back flavor, all this. I wonder if the way you're doing it is the more historical way, almost like just that.
In a way,
more...
probably because I have such a minimalistic approach.
Yeah.
It's probably more like an old style, I would say, than maybe how modern mead makers do it. I mean, you go to most countries in the world. I mean, bees are everywhere. It predates, you know, beer and wine by thousands of years. Mead started was like found as old as 9,000 BC, and like malting grapes didn't really start getting farmed, I think, until 2,000 or 3,000 BC. Mead can be made naturally in the wild if the bees were to leave a hive behind and it had too much water in there. It could start fermenting on its own. The theory is that someone found like a beehive. They wanted to gather the honey, but they had nowhere really to put it, so they put it in their water satchel. Started walking back to their hut or cave or home or whatever, tossed it to the side of the corner maybe, and forgot about it and came back to it and was like, oh, this is different. And then probably tried to recreate that, realizing it was just honey and water, and there's natural yeast in the honey, and so that's what helped it probably ferment and the jostling around from getting back home.
Oh my God.
Yeah, maybe where mead started. So every country has their own version, but most people know it from Vikings and medieval stuff.
Right.
So like that's where it got popular. My method is very minimalistic. It's pretty much put the ingredients together and let it do its thing. I let it do all the work rather than trying to force it or change it or make it do it the way I want.
Yeah.
So every time I make a batch, it's always a little different. So even if I try to make the same batch, it's either it's a little sweeter or it's a little drier, because I let the yeast self-stabilize rather than trying to stabilize it with sulfites. I let the mead do what it wants to do, and I just keep it as happy as I can. So
You take care of it, let it grow.
Like a plant. Like a plant,
Yeah,
like a baby. Oh, that's amazing.
So about how long does it take to go from this to...
yeah, from start batch to bottle, for me, most commercial meaderies, I think, pump them out in about 2 months because they can filter it and they sulfide it and all that stuff, and they can speed up the process. For me, I don't even rack it from like one vessel into another for about 2 to 4 months. And then from there, I probably don't even bottle it typically until about maybe 6 months or so. And then I also let it sit in my bottles in bottle age for a few more months as well. My goal is I want it to be the best thing you've ever tried. I want it to be the best thing you've ever put in your mouth.
So most mead has sulfites in it. Yours does not.
So fermentation creates it's just sulfites created from fermentation.
Okay.
Most of them get eaten up from the fermentation process and attached to oxygen and all that. Okay. So like on my label, I say no sulfites added except for naturally occurring sulfites.
Okay.
Kind of have like Mead ADHD brand. I keep making different flavors. I still make a couple things repetitively, but I try to make new things all the time.
You're making new things.
Yeah,
constantly.
half the fun is just trying new experiments.
Okay.
So right there, I started a pomegranate acai batch, like a 30-gallon batch. I made too much, and I had a little bit extra, so I just poured it into like a little small carboy as a little side one.
Okay.
And I'll end up doing this one like a little sweeter than like that one probably. And then in the middle of feeding them and all that, I had I made a big raspberry batch, and I started. I took a little bit of the raspberry and put it in here again, just to make a little spin off. So I'll make a batch. I'll have a little extra sometimes, and then I'll add like another ingredient to it. Like, okay, this is that, but with this extra flavor. Always with the little experiments, and just to see what happens. And then sometimes I'll be like, oh, that one's actually better with the raspberry. Next time I do it big, I'm gonna do it with the raspberry. And so that's how I evolve with my flavors. Yeah, and then sometimes when I do sparkling meads, I'll blend a couple meads together and then carbonate them, and then like, oh, that was a good combination. Maybe I should ferment with those next time.
Yeah.
Like
All right.
Do you have like a giant log where you just write? Like, how do you remember all of
Yeah,
this? Like,
so
I'm thinking, like, do you have a wall where you have?
I have books for my recipe books. and
Yeah,
I like
cool.
I like to quote Adam Savage from the Mythbusters.
Yeah.
The difference between science and fucking around is writing it down.
Yes,
And so, like, I still fuck around, but I write it down.
yes, it's science.
Yeah.
It's science. Oh my god.
I did 12 different Hawaiian honeys, a batch with each one. That way, and just honey and water. That way you can tell the difference for each honey. So like macadamia nut honey, coconut blossom honey, coffee blossom, like when you taste the honeys, you can taste a little bit of difference or smell a little bit of difference. The colors are always different.
Fermentation.
But when you ferment it, that's when the characteristics and the flavors really come out. Being able to show people how much the honey really makes a difference was a fun time. And it's another reason why I like to experiment with all the honey. Anytime I can find a different honey, I'll try it.
How much honey are you using? So do you have to talk to the honey provider and be like, I make mead, I need some honey from you?
I definitely deal with local apiaries mostly. I'll go into like a local apiary or talk to a local apiary, see what they have available during that season. Smell for honey is what really tells me the quality. The taste, most honeys taste pretty similar, but the smell, experimenting with those rare tropical things, but still just try to keep it local to keep that footprint down. So.
Okay.
And so I have like 50 different flavors in here, just ready to go on to the menu as soon as one sells out.
That's amazing.
And I like all styles from bone dry to dessert sweet, spicy. I do sparkling meads and kegs. So like I make every style of mead there pretty much is. One of the largest selections of mead in the Northwest, if not the country for the most part, I think. And for being my size, for being small, and like I make, so you asked about how much honey I so I think last year I did about 6,000 pounds of honey. And there's some meaderies, I think here in the Northwest even, that will go through that probably in a month or two.
Wow.
And so like I'm very small in comparison. To create as many flavors as I do with the low quantities that I create is just like unheard of. I like to break all the rules pretty much.
Yeah.
So make more than most bigger meaderies. Don't sulfite it, don't filter it, do the long wait, do everything differently.
It's what sets it apart. It's what sets it apart.
Yeah, it's what sets me apart from everybody else. It makes me a little bit different. So.
That's why we're here. That's really yes.
How many flavors total do you think you have right now? Over 50, obviously.
I bet you right now inside here, like between all these books, I probably have about 50 or 40.
Wow.
Yeah. In my lifetime, between all my books and such, I probably have a couple hundred. I think I just...
Look at that book.
I was hoping so hard that that's what the book looked like. I was gonna die if it's just like a spiral about, I was like, please be leather bound and tied together.
Marble notebook.
My last batch was a maple mead. It was mead with maple syrup. I also make maple wine.
Oh my.
So which is also
I've never
unheard
heard of that.
Yeah, exactly. No one's even heard of it, yet alone make it, really. And so instead of fermenting honey, I ferment maple syrup. Just maple syrup, straight up, 100%.
Wow.
And then I flavor that sometimes with like spices or fruits and all that. But my last batch was batch number 296, which is how many batches, whether it's big or small, that I've made since I've been licensed.
Okay.
And when I was a home brewer, I made 85-gallon batches in 8 years. I actually didn't make any mead for almost a year when I was like saving up money and working a lot and getting ready for the licensing.
Okay.
And so 296 plus 80 is how many batches I've made so far. Well, plus the 3 or 4 that I just made a week ago. So I'm almost up to 400 batches in my lifetime. So.
Wow. I was going to say, and I have no idea how much that is because numbers. Like,
Oh.
I was like, Twitch, like, it's so much. It's so much. Oh, wow.
And most of my batches are different. Like there's a couple flavors, of course, that I recreate, like my Dragon's Breath or Black Magic, Lady Lavender, where I'll make them in the bigger batches. But a vast majority of what I make is just tiny, small batch experiments.
Ooh, we cannot wait to try them and see these bottles, definitely.
Yeah, we can go take some samples and see what you guys think.
Beautiful.
Yes.
red raspberry. Love it. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So that one should drink closer to like a white wine or a rosé.
Okay, so silly, but it really tastes like raspberry. You know, like the aftertaste, it's like a raspberry.
Yeah, I feel like I'm walking through like a meadow.
Taking honey and drizzling it on a little raspberry. Yeah, and then it makes you feel nice.
It does make me feel nice.
Absolutely delicious. Daybreak was
And
our
the Daybreak
second one?
did.
And this one had tropical notes.
Yeah, it's like peach, pineapple, mango, strawberry, and coconut.
Ooh, coconut.
It's the first time I've ever made that batch, and I haven't made it again since. It was the first time
that's delicious.
experiment. So everything I make makes it to the menu. I do a lot of small batch experiments.
Yeah.
But everything makes it to the menu. Even if I don't like it, I find out it's somebody else's favorite.
That's really good.
Wait,
I felt like I was in an orchard, but also on the beach.
Semi-extravagant sweet.
Yeah. The juniper berry is gin, so if you like.
Oh God, cocoa. Oh man, if you like juniper, that is it.
Yeah, the yarrow is more subtle.
Wow.
It's probably hard to tell what flavor the yarrow is. The hibiscus is a little more.
Really
If
good.
you don't like gin, I think like that.
You would still love that.
If you're afraid of like gin or something, that would still be so good because it's subtle.
Yeah, it's sparkling. It's like refreshing.
Yeah. I just noticed, she'll like gravitate towards it, like walking past.
That is really good.
Oh, I'm so excited. Okay. It's really good.
Yes.
Limoncello. I have a guess on how this one's going to taste. And I'm a sweet person.
I prefer my sweet to sweet, semi-sweet to sweet.
Ooh, that's so different. That sparkling unicorn blend to that one. Ooh, that's juicy almost. That's juicy.
Holy cow, yeah.
Because that tastes like cider.
It's like sunshine.
Like out of
Sunshine's a good way to put it.
It does. It's very bright. The dragon's breath. Okay.
I always do the spicy one last.
Okay, I'm excited for this
I know.
one.
I hope you can. I'm gonna watch you and be like, can I handle this? Okay.
Yeah,
Is this my first? This is my first ghost pepper anything ever because I'm so scared.
Most people are pretty scared when they hear ghost pepper.
I'd say 2.
Yeah, like a 2 out of 5.
Yeah, no, that's good. And I'm a wimp. Yeah. So that's great.
It's like the burn of the ginger and the ghost pepper kind of combine with each other, and it's
Oh yeah, no, I like that I can like feel it.
Yes, yeah. It's warm.
A lot of people like to mix this one with other beans, so they'll get like a unicorn blood glass and then put a splash of dragon bread on top.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
They were all amazing.
They were so different.
Yes.
So different, but still mead. You know, you still had the mead taste. You can tell what you were drinking. But they were so different on those flavor profiles.
Lots of different layers of honey, and I didn't know that you could do all of that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You guys.
Magic. It is magic.
It's true. There you have it, all of the magic behind Mr. B's White Center location.
This is the magic. Mr. and Mrs. B, right here.
Thank you guys so much for sharing your story, sharing all of this with not just us, but everybody. This is so incredible, and keeping the history of the building alive. You guys have been so wonderful.
But this isn't everything. There's actually another location, and we're gonna take you there now.
We're here at the Fremont Tasting Room. It's so cool in here.
The coolest.
And we're gonna drink some mead. And you're coming with us.
Let's drink the mead. We're starting with bourbon lavender.
Bourbon lavender.
Bourbon lavender.
Cheers. Cheers. It's like masculine and feminine all in one, I feel.
That's my favorite so far. And I say that after tasting everything yesterday too. That one's really good.
Oh no.
Yeah, that's I don't know how we're gonna follow that.
It was aged in a bourbon barrel, and then they sprinkled lavender on top, and that's what it tastes like.
It's just a hint of lavender too. It's not like overpowering. So good.
Phenomenal. 10 out of 10.
That's the best one.
Mm-hmm. Number 2 is called the Cardi G. It's gonna have some ginger in there.
Yeah.
Ooh.
This one has carbonation too. It's sparkling.
It is. It's a sparkling one. That's a gam. It's some good ass mead.
Yeah, it's really good.
Get a bucket and a mop. It's some good ass mead.
Oh, this one's fun. He buys bulk honey from Costco.
It makes a Kirkland special.
Yeah, we recommend you buy in bulk.
Yes, gotta buy it in bulk. Pairs great with a $1.50 hot dog.
That's good.
I think it's just a classic mead.
It is just a classic, like smooth start honey mead.
It really is so good though. The honey is nice.
The honey is good. Yeah.
Ooh. So number 4 is a maple microbrew, which again is really cool. Mr. B was telling us yesterday that as far as he knows, no one else is fermenting maple syrup and making drinks out of it. And so we had to try this one. I'm excited. Ooh, that is not time. So the microbrew aspect of it comes in really hard. This is so interesting.
Is it hoppy?
No.
Okay.
It's interesting. I love that. Again, you can get like the maple syrup in it. But the microbrew comes in hard.
Yeah.
That is am I drinking beer or is it mead? But then there's a carbonate.
It's like if you were going to drink beer for breakfast, it would be that.
It is. This is really, really incredible. I wish I could describe it better to you guys because it is. It's like a mix of mead, a microbrew, and yeah, maple syrup in there. Yeah. Delicious.
I'm excited for this one. This is an apple pie.
I know this one might be a slide into number 1 for me because I love apple pie anything.
You do. Yeah. I can smell it. It smells like cinnamon.
I know, I'm excited. I'm just gonna stare at you drink this.
It does taste like apple pie.
Is it really apple-y? I want the apple. No? Ooh.
I mean, there's an apple, but it's not overpowering.
No, I mostly smell cinnamon.
It's the spices, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, it feels very comfortable, very warm, very grandma's house. Yeah.
That's really, really, really good.
Yep.
Do you want the last of it? I feel like I've been.
No.
We'll watch it back, but I'm pretty sure you've taken a polite sip of all of these, and I've just been like.
Oh, no. Yeah, I'm counting on you to finish before me.
That was really, really good. So this last one, shout out to some Greek mythology.
That's our Greek.
This is Persephone's heart, pomegranate. Little nod to Catherine of Aragon there. Yeah. Let us see. So that one's definitely a bit drier, but I like it. You get, again, even with the dry ones, you get that honey.
Yeah.
Honey, like not in a sweet way.
Yeah, but it's still there.
The thing with Mr. B's meads is, and it sounds so basic and silly to say, but it tastes like the ingredients that are in it, because I'm not a huge beer person, and so every time they're like, this beer is peanut butter and chocolate, like, no, it's not. I do not taste any, or even wines, they'll be like, it has floral notes or this. I'm like, does it? I only taste wine. But this is like, no, I got that pomegranate
you can taste
in there.
the flavors. They're distinct.
It is really, really, really incredible. The love and time that they take to put into all of this.
Yeah, and I haven't had one that I don't like.
No. The bourbon lavender,
My hands down,
It's
my favorite.
incredible.
Yeah, we recommend.
close second, that apple pie.
Very
For
good.
sure. And then my top 3, rounding out that, is going to be the Kirkland, just because it's a nice
I
classic.
would say for me, it's the bourbon lavender, then the Kirkland, and then the Cardi G. I really like the Cardi G's, and I like the name.
We love a pun.
Yeah, we love
out
a pun.
here.